Good morning, traders. Today is Thursday, February 17th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. All right. Well, the market is in kind of a tricky position right now in terms of knowing exactly how to take trades. And so for me, the thing that is the main focal point this morning is the overnight high and the overnight low. And let me get this pen tool up and running, and I will explain why. So if we look at what happened with the overnight last night, at the end of the day yesterday, we had a massive push higher, and we built some volume and spent some time up here at higher prices, back up in this previous balancing area. And that was bullish to see because we got back through all this resistance, and we're beginning to spend some time up here. So what we were looking for in the overnight was, do we stay up in the balance area up in here, or do we reject back lower below the previous balance area? And we can see that's exactly what happened in the overnight. They spent a little bit of time floating around within balance, broke below, and then when they tried to come back in, they failed again, tried to come back in again, failed. So there is still some strong resistance in this balance area right now. So as far as looking to the upside, I need to see us get through all of that resistance. I need to see us get through all of this, come back down, find some support, and then I'll be really confident when we break above that overnight high. The last really strong bit of resistance being there and there. So if we can get through the overnight high to the upside, I would go long, looking for continuation to the opposite end of balance, which is all the way up at 45.20. If that resistance continues here this morning and we start to trade lower, if the overnight low breaks, which is just at the lower end of this node of support from yesterday, if that overnight low breaks, I would target repairing the last of the gap that needs to be backfilled to 44.20. So 45.20 or 44.20, upside and downside. And then monitor for continuation lower from there. So if the market breaks that overnight low, heads down here, fills the gap, then what happens? Do we bring in support? Do buyers start to step in? If not, I look for continuation lower. All right, Charles, we get it. Short, breaking the overnight low, long breaking the overnight high. What about in the middle? Well, right now it's uncertainty. There is a lot of support below us. There's a lot of resistance above us. So grinding around, it's going to be a very tricky play to know which way the market's going to go. So we either wait for the signal of cessation of one time framing, and then we just take rotational trades, or we go with whichever direction we break the overnight. Please smash that thumbs up button. Got 70 people in here, 26 likes. If anyone else could feel it in their soul, that deep down urge to support the pirate, give me that thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. All right, the poll is out as the market is open. Where do you think the market's going today? Higher, lower, or rotational? That is door number C. We could potentially be creating a new balancing area in here. It's what it's starting to look like. something like this. So there is the potential for rotation as well. Opening price today was just a few ticks off from yesterday's POC. Shows further sign of uncertainty here this morning. The Ferris price. Whenever they go back to that Ferris price, they're just not sure what to do. I have a feeling our poll is going to be 50-50, higher and lower. We're going to be split down the middle. All right, 91 people here. Only 33 have voted. Nobody else wants to make a guess for what the market's going to do today. It's completely anonymous. Nobody will know you voted. Nobody will know it was you. But we'd like your voice to be heard. Let's get our group think on here. All right, heading down to test that overnight low. So either this node from yesterday acts as support, or if it breaks, I think we need to backfill the rest of the gap we left behind to 44.20. So let's see if we can bring in some support here. All right, 52 votes. Let's close this poll and see where we're at. Ooh, boy, split three ways right down the middle. Higher 33%, lower 33%, rotational 32%. Like, as split as we could be. Makes sense we opened at the Ferris price. There is some uncertainty in this market. Okay, well, I don't like the way the low looks. It's good taper, but it's very, very close to the overnight low. and it's only got 8 contracts on the lowest level. I usually like to see at least 100 there. So right now it's good taper, and we are starting to bring in buyers, but I don't trust that low. Surely there's more than 8 people willing to do business down here. Robo futures trader, super tight open on the NQ. Same as yesterday, NQ not quite as bearish as the ES. They put in most of their time and volume above that balance area low. So a little bit more bullish on the Q here. But they still have a ton of resistance to work through if they want to push higher. But they fully filled their gap yesterday. So there's no weakness in need of repair. Nor Auto Trader, good morning to you. HZ, can you explain the different colors of your charts? What's the difference between the pink and red levels? Yeah, so it represents the amount of volume that traded at that particular level. The areas where they have the dark red, that's the highest 30% of volume. The pink is the middle 40% of volume. And then the white is the bottom 30% of volume. Okay, so looking above, lots of resistance in here. Volume and time. A lot of resistance between 43 and 49. Yeah, the blue is the value area as well. And the blue box around the volume profile over here on the left, that's the value area based on volume. The value area over here on the right, that's the value area based on the TPOs. Don't worry about that. That's overcomplicating it. But just in case they don't line up, you'll understand why. Amir, markets are sleepy this morning. I don't know that I'd call it sleepy as much as uncertain. I don't think they know where to go. There's no leadership yet. But we do have low volume. All right, well, breaking the overnight low to me increases the odds that we don't have the buyers here to get through all this resistance up here. So we likely need to pull down and try to backfill the gap, looking for buyers in there. And there have been. Yesterday, multiple times we tried to trade down into the gap and there were instantly buyers waiting. So I think we may have to head down there this morning. Very, very short-term bearish. It's interesting how many of these like little volume cliffs we keep getting near the lows. Trader McStockser, do you ever use discrepancies between the time and volume profile POCs or value areas? No, I don't. I've looked for them, but I haven't noticed anything reliable. J Trader, lately these big overnight ranges have led to smaller regular trading hour ranges. There might be something to that. Yeah, you're right. The market seems to do it like a little more price exploration in the overnight and then return back to where it was. I don't know though. Just looking to even the last week, we've had a lot of volatility in the regular trading hours. All of that. All of that. Yesterday was a big day. Brett, on my chart, the NQ needs a liquidation break to 14,340. 14,340. No, I don't see any need for a liquidation break. Look at all the support we built up in here yesterday. I could see a slow grind to repair that weak G period low. We'd have to get a few ticks below yesterday's low. So yeah, maybe looking for support around 44. So we're in agreement with where it could go, but not that it needs a liquidation break. All right, so boom, once again, as soon as the A period got into that gap, instantly buyers stepped in. That's the fourth time. Just buyers waiting in that gap. Okay, I do think there's going to be buyers waiting at 44.20. So I'm going to go back to neutral and look to see how the market reacts to this area. All right, well, lack of buyers stepping in there is bearish for continuation lower, but we left behind a low volume node. 39 contracts, 36, 38. So look for the market to push back up to there and then look for resistance right around 44.20. Okay, didn't quite backfill those low volume nodes. That's a little bearish. Man, Brett, my bad, bro. Good call on the liquidation. Okay, so once again, same as before, we've got good taper on the low, but I don't like the fact that there's less than 100 contracts on those bottom two levels. So I do think we're going to have to push back down there again if we're going to make a good low. Amir, we are also at yesterday's low on the NQ. Yep. We repaired that little bit of weakness left behind in the G period. Same as the ES, though. It seems a little suspicious. They only have 6 contracts at the low. Surely there must be somebody else willing to do business at that level. Okay, that's a poor low we just created here in the B period. Oftentimes the market will push away from a poor low, but then comes back to take it out later. If we immediately repair it, which we just did, that is a more bearish scenario. Okay, next potential support around 44.04. Amir, looks like war, boys. I see this one. Fire from tank reported in eastern Ukraine. Once the tanks start firing. You got yourself a war. Amir, if your long-term portfolio is getting killed, you're not diversified enough. You gotta diversify that bad boy. Buy some energy. Buy some metals. Buy some real estate. All right, well, let's see if the zero line can hold as resistance here for the ticks. We do still have these low volume nodes up here that need backfilling just above to 44.20. But if they can keep the selling going here, they can get continuation lower. As long as they keep the ticks below that zero line. James, they hit an empty school and a village hut? What is going on? They're just blowing things up? What's the world coming to? David V, just curious, what's your take on investing in bonds, and by what age would you say? Yeah, the way my long-term investment is set up is as a what Ray Dalio calls an all-weather portfolio. So it's actually mostly bonds. I don't do the like traditional 60-40 or whatever argument. Like when you're younger, you be like 80% stocks, 20% bonds. And then as you get older, you do more bonds and less stocks because you want to be like more risk off or whatever. I don't really think about it that way. I just think, what is the portfolio that I could get in that no matter what happens, I won't get out, right? I'll never panic. The portfolio is built in such a way it can sustain any major moves. And as long as I just keep adding to it, I end up getting the same return as just investing in, say, the S&P 500 or whatever, but with less risk from diversification. Just Google Ray Dalio's all-weather portfolio. There's a million videos about it. I also add a little bit of Bitcoin to it. It has like, I think, a 7% allotment to gold. So I do like 4% gold, 3% Bitcoin. All right, well, they got those ticks back above the zero line. They're heading up to backfill those low volume nodes. Looking for resistance at 44.20. Let's see if they get those ticks smack back down below the zero line. All right, so we pushed back up and backfilled all those low volume nodes. We did find a little bit of resistance at 44.20, but at the same time, we are getting the ticks to stay above the zero line. So to me, I'm back to a neutral stance. Still don't like the way the low looks, but if this node right around between 44.13 and 44.15, if that node can hold as support now, we can trade back higher. So I'm neutral until we test that for support. Next potential resistance to the upside would be between yesterday's low and the half back, somewhere between there. All right, that's support. We're testing the very bottom end of it. Do the buyers step in here? Nope. All right, looking for further downside continuation. The selling is not over. Got to get those ticks above the zero line and keep them there. So next support to the downside, 44.04. Wenpeng, what program do you use for TPOs? It's called Window Trader. Window spelled without a W at the end. There's a link in the description below the video. Down at the bottom it says affiliate links. You'll see there's two options. One is Window Trader Lite and one is Window Trader Blue. They're basically the same thing. Just Blue has a few more options, a few more gizmos and gadgets attached. Ocean Blue White House News, question mark. Use your stops. All right, I'm still bearish here, but I'm just changing the banner because it's almost 10:30. Chris Yee, if the initial balance low is broken, is it likely we will continue in that direction? Yes, sir. You got the market clearly failed to break into this previous balance area. So that is the signal that we do not have enough buyers to take the market higher right now, and we need some kind of pullback. The first potential area to find support would have been at the high where we backfilled the gap, right? But we did not, and we are continuing to reject lower here. So this is bearish across the boards. We could very easily start a trend down from here. So if we print the C period and it continues lower than the B period low, we are beginning the process of one time framing lower, and we could get a trend on our hands. One thing that is worth noting is often if we have a very large initial balance, we don't have a very large range beyond that. Usually days where we have a large initial balance, that makes up a big chunk of the day. So I could see, if we get a continuation in the C period, I can see it trending for a little bit and then finding support and just kind of like rotating, something like that. But let's wait and see. Arthur, why is oil going down with all the Russia war looming? Sometimes the market has to break before it can rally. Some of those people who bought the rumor are selling the news. Ish happens. All right, well, there you have it. Continuation of the trend in the C period means the market is officially one time framing lower. So I will be looking for resistance when we backfill the single prints we've just left behind in the B period. So at 44.08, looking for resistance there and then continuation lower. All right. And with that, I wish you all farewell. Au revoir. The best of the Thursday to all of you. Tomorrow is a monthly options expiry Friday. So I will see you all here tomorrow morning. Thanks a lot. Have a great rest of your day.